Alright, everyone, welcome back to r/Fatlogic. I'm gonna try to not go off the rails with my commentary this time. And, let's just get into this. If someone wanted to lose weight because they want to increase their quality of life, is that a problem? Losing weight isn't what increases quality of life. That is a lie fed to us by medical fat phobia. No, no. Oftentimes, unless you are already at like a healthy weight and you want to lose weight to the point where you're underweight, like if you're losing weight to get to a healthy weight, no, that improves your quality of life. And not just in this isn't just in medical terms. This is just about everyday functioning. Like if you have lost weight and gained muscle, it's easier for you to do things. It's easier for you to go about your daily life. And quite frankly, being more active, having a more active lifestyle gives you more energy in the long run. I work and then my mom and I have a very active job. I work with kids. I'm constantly chasing kids. The other day, I had to run around the perimeter of the school pretty much 3 times because I was chasing this one kid that had just gone out of control and we couldn't lose sight of him. We didn't want him to get in a place where he could injure himself. We didn't want him to like take off school grounds and like then that's an even bigger issue and we'd have to get the cops involved and like it's this big thing. We had to keep that kid in our sights. So I am fucking chasing this kid. I'm not allowed to like grab him or anything. I can only really keep him in my sights and I wasn't trained to restrain him or de-escalate the situation or anything, so I didn't really know how to handle this. The kid was special needs and he was having a bit of a meltdown and he was just like running. He was trying to constantly take off, but I couldn't let him out of my sight. So I had to run around the perimeter of the school 3 times to keep him in my sight until he finally like just chose to hide somewhere. Like not hide, we knew where he was. We just pretended not to see him because we wanted to give him privacy since we knew he was okay, we knew where he was. That was fine. Someone just had to keep him in our sights the entire time. And my mom and sister have desk jobs, so they're sitting all day. At the end of the day, despite the fact that I get, 10,000, 12,000 steps, I still have energy for the most part. I mean, it's not that I'm not tired, but I have the energy for the most part to keep doing things that I need to do at home, where my mom and sister are completely exhausted. There's something about having like an active lifestyle, an active job that makes your endurance just better and it makes it easier. And part of that is also having a lower body weight. Now, my sister's skinnier than I am, but she had an active job before her most recent job, and she's having some difficulty negotiating like how to stay within a weight that she's happy at, given the new nature of her job. So, anyway, back to the point. I said I wasn't going to go off the rails, and I still ended up going off the rails, but losing weight does often increase your quality of life. I think my quality of life would be even better if I were at a healthy weight. Right now, I'm considered, like, I'm just on the other side of the line from overweight to obese, so I'm technically obese, and that is what I'm working on fixing. And I think if I already have more energy because of my active job, I know that by losing weight and my body doesn't have to work as hard to keep moving, my life is going to be easier. So this isn't medical fat phobia. This is just part of how your body works. Your body is not meant to carry excessive amounts of extra weight. It's just not. It's going to be easier on your joints, it's going to be easier on your heart, and it's going to be easier on your lungs to lose some weight. That's just fact. It's not medical fat phobia. Fat people who choose intentional weight loss are not enemies. They aren't even combatants in this space until they unfortunately become what is most common, which is a former fat person who now embodies most of anti-fatness, using their choices as a cudgel against other fat people. No, honey. No, these are people that prioritized their health, that worked towards losing their weight, and they realize, it amazes me how they're like, you became anti-fat. Don't you, if you've been fat all your life, and you're like, I should just be accepted, and then someone who was fat all their life and finally lost their weight, and is like, no, you need to lose weight, don't you think you should sit down and have a talk rather than just branding them your enemy? People who are fat and lost weight are often like, no, being fat is unhealthy, because they realize how much better their life is now that they've shed those extra pounds. This isn't a matter of vanity pounds. If they were really fat and they got down to a healthy weight, then they realize that their life is easier. They realize that they have more energy. They realize that their joints don't hurt as much. Their back doesn't hurt as much. Their breathing is easier. Like, there's 1,000 different things that come with losing some extra weight. It's not a matter of them, now that they've slimmed down, they're going to beat you over the head with the notion of losing weight. It's that they are trying to appeal to you. Hey, I've been where you are, and listen, your life can be easier. And instead of just understanding that these several people, I mean, if you claim these as like the most common of what happens when fat people lose weight, then perhaps you should listen to them. Perhaps you should, because people don't have this same opinion over and over again across genders, across life experiences, and come to the same conclusion unless there is some validity to that conclusion. Now, you can sit down, you can listen to it, and you can take it with a grain of salt if that's really what's important to you. But maybe stopping and listening to someone's perspective will give you greater insight into your own condition. Like, it's hard. No one's going to say it's not hard. It's hard to lose weight. It's hard to make healthier life choices. It becomes easier the more you do it, but it's going to be hard at first, and you have to deal with a level of discomfort. That's just the way it is. What the fuck is she talking about? I swear, these wokies just throw a bunch of words together and think they made a point. Thin girls with modest asses and hip dips made being anti-BBL, I think that's Brazilian butt lift, some sort of feminist movement, when it's really just a combination of anti-fatness, whorephobia, anti-blackness, and a tiny bit of insecurity that is the bulk of what makes their politics surrounding the BBL craze. Okay. In general, I'm kind of against plastic surgery. I tend to fall in the, it's your body, do whatever the fuck you want, although, like, really take into consideration the risks of what you're doing. But if these girls are, like, anti this, that doesn't, I'm not entirely sure where the anti-fatness is coming in with that, unless it's just the fact that these girls are thinner and they're the anti-Brazilian butt lift. I don't really know. That whorephobia is a new one for me, though. I actually looked that up because I wanted to know if that was, like, a regular thing, and I couldn't find anything related to whorephobia, but I love that this is becoming like, everything's becoming a phobia now, and it's kind of pissing me off. Like, no one wants to improve themselves anymore. Everything, like, if you're a sex worker, that's fine. But, like, I feel like this would be like I respect sex workers, but I don't want to be a sex worker. It makes me wildly uncomfortable. You're being whorephobic. Like, I feel like that's the line where it's coming in. I just, And the whole anti-blackness thing, I can't, not in this context. Like, perhaps arguments can be had over other aspects, but anti-blackness in regard to being fat is something I cannot handle. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. And if anything, it's more racist than what the Fatlogic, the fat acceptance people think is racist. And I love, though, that it's a tiny bit of insecurity. It's just, wow. Every Noom ad is like, we're not a diet. We're an eating disorder. So, no. I will say, though, that Noom, like, says it's gonna tailor stuff to you. It fucking doesn't. It's a 1,200 calorie diet. My mom actually signed up for this and is wasting money on it. I don't think that you need Noom, and I don't think it really works. I promise that you can lose this huge amount of money, but they do that by giving you a 1,200 calorie diet regardless of how active you are. I don't think it's an eating disorder. I think it's just a gimmick. I think it's the same kind of gimmick as a cleanse, almost, in that it's not something that's super sustainable, and unless you are morbidly obese, 1,200 calories, or really short, but I don't think that 1,200 calories is necessarily necessary unless you have an extremely sedentary lifestyle, are morbidly obese, or maybe are really short. But that doesn't make it an eating disorder. It's just a poorly designed diet, really. Because fat people need to be accepted the way they are, the vast majority of people who become fat are going to be stuck being fat no matter how hard they try to lose weight. Your body fights to keep the fat as a survival mechanism. So as someone who's well over 600 pounds, I want people to accept me for the size I am. I'm never going to be thin. Honey, this is more than just not being thin. No matter how hard I try, because there's no point in trying since my body will fight to put all the weight back on. It's better physically and mentally to just accept your weight and live your life. Not when you're over 600 pounds. You said you are well over 600 pounds. Your body is not fighting to keep you there. You just eat too much. You eat too much. Like, oh my god. To a certain extent, I feel like this argument is overused. Your body fights to keep the fat as a survival mechanism. To a degree, this is true. However, the fat acceptance people take it to the nth degree. They take it entirely too far. That's not really how it works. Your body is not fighting, and you can change your, like, what's it called? It's like the weight set limit. Like, you can change that. I think the way it works is, in order to have, like, the easiest time losing weight, you lose around 10% of your body weight, and then you maintain for a few months, and then you lose another 10%, and then that will kind of reset your set limit further and further down. Even so, I think at over 600 pounds, the body is, like, desperate to lose weight, so you could probably lose probably about 50% of your body weight before you really hit a plateau. Like, your body doesn't want to be 600 pounds. This isn't even a matter of survival mechanism, because if anything, in order to survive, your body, like, wants to lose that weight, so that way it can actually, the heart doesn't have to work so hard, the lungs don't have to work so hard, the joints don't have to work so hard. Right now, you being 600 pounds is actually the antithesis to survival, and the body's mechanisms are designed, I think, actually to prevent this level of weight gain, and because you keep stuffing your face, probably to the point of discomfort, which is ignoring your body's cues. Like, it's not a matter of being thin, and it's not a matter of you can't lose the weight, it's a matter of you don't want to give up your eating habits, your, like, massive level eating habits, and you don't want to have to change. That's what it is. You don't want to have to change, and you don't want to have to put the work in, and you just want to be accepted. And to a certain extent, I understand, but, like, this is a matter of this isn't survival. Your body's surviving. This is on you. This is 100% on you. And we're gonna leave it there. Talking about this, though, I have sadly gained a half pound this week. I'm really disappointed, but I know it's my fault because I didn't track my calories as rigidly as I have the previous weeks, so I want to get back on that for this coming week and really kind of track my calories and make sure that I'm not going over my calorie limit. But the good news is that I'm still technically ahead of the game. So I'm still on track. I'm still okay. But I want to catch this before I like start getting any more weight back. So we're going to leave it here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.